Lecrae has had a huge amount of success, with many people knowing who he is across the world. He has won a Grammy, sold millions of albums, and impacted many people around the world with his music. So what ultimately contributed to his success? What helped him to get where he is right now? We're going to tell you 5 things you can learn from Lecrae.
Say what? Say I won't. We done outside of that shit's how we living. Say I won't. And I bet I will. You can say I won't.
Don't care about the critics. Lecrae doesn't care about people's acceptance anymore. He has faced a huge amount of criticism from fans and people who don't understand his motives.
You know, and if I want to write a song about, you know, how much I love my daughter, you may say, well, this ain't a gospel song.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's because then I shouldn't be called a gospel artist then if that's how you feel.
Yeah. Right.
And so for me, it's like, man, I'm gonna write about my whole life. You know, I'm gonna write songs from Monday to Sunday, not just Sunday.
When he collaborated with E40 and now Ty Dolla $ign, people accused him of selling out for fame and money. If you didn't know, many Christians struggle with the idea of collaborating with mainstream artists. The truth is, people will never agree with every move you make because they can't see the vision or your intentions, and Lecrae had to accept that for himself. If you live for people's acceptance, you'll die from their rejection.
Say I won't.
Never quit.
To be different. Say I won't. Why y'all scared to be different? Say I won't.
Who remembers Jesus music or Lecrae's first studio album, Real Talk? It's been a long time since they came out, and they weren't even a massive success by a long shot. But Lecrae kept on pushing and grinding, eventually releasing After the Music Stops, Rebel, Rehab, and then skip a few years and a few more albums later, he releases Church Clothes in 2012.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Mega Evers, R.I.P. to Dr. Kane. I ain't trying to hate on my own kind, but Al and Jesse don't speak for me.
In 48 hours, the album reached 100,000 downloads and reached over 250,000 downloads in less than a month. Now, in 2016, Lecrae is making millions, selling music to people all over the world. Who knows where Lecrae would be right now if he quit before anyone knew who he was?
Ladies and gentlemen, Lecrae.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Be relevant.
I will honestly say you have been one of the most highly requested people that they have wanted to see on The Breakfast Club.
Let's be honest, Lecrae isn't as known as other mainstream artists, but due to him putting himself in front of the right people, he has managed to expose himself to a wider audience. It all comes down to your goal. If you want to stay in your circle, you don't have to branch out. But if you want to jump into different crowds, you have to talk about things which are relevant to the crowd.
You have Native Americans who are on their own land, and they're getting disrespected by the state government that just wants to start drilling, and the federal government hasn't stepped in, and you get people getting arrested and being treated like criminals on their own land. But I saw you being very vocal about that.
In a city like New York City, right, it's places you can't build, you can't nail a picture into your wall because it's a historic site. But the actual natives from this place don't get that same honor. Like, yo, leave this place alone, it's historic. Like, these people are from here.
If you don't talk about things which are relevant to the people you're trying to reach, they won't bother listening to your music. Being relevant is key. Taking risks.
Society that drove us apart. Look at us from selling dope to our own kind to a dope rhyme. Radio done played it more times, paying more dimes than some industry exec getting checks from a private prison with the rap money he invests.
Every time Lecrae steps outside the box, he's doing something no one has ever done before him. He's the first. So every step he takes is a risk, and it could end up going south, but he will never know unless he tries. He was the first Christian rapper, or should I say a Christian who raps, to perform on The Tonight Show, or be interviewed by The Breakfast Club and many other mainstream radio stations. When Lecrae steps on these platforms to be interviewed, he doesn't know the type of response he's going to get from the interviewers, and he doesn't know what sort of questions they're going to ask. He also doesn't know if everyone will agree with his moves. But when you're the first to walk the path no one has taken before, it's a risk. And no one has ever been successful without taking some risks.
Canada, Canada, Canada.
Try something different. For those of us who pretty much grew up with Lecrae, his flow hasn't changed a lot. But this year he collaborated with Ty Dolla $ign on his new single, Blessings. If you've heard the song, I know what you're thinking. He's copying Future or Young Thug. That is true. He's copied a wave many artists have jumped on. But if you think of music as a business, you have to try different things to see if they work. You will never know if something doesn't work unless you try. Rappers used to get laughed at if they attempted to sing back in the 2000s, but now if a rapper sings, it's accepted. Do you agree with our list? Do you think there are more things you can probably learn from Lecrae? Let us know in the comment section below. And once again, if you like this video or our channel, please like and subscribe.